Hi everyone, it's Rajitza, Feminine Intuitive, and we are back for our third module. First of all, let me just say I'm so excited. This is week 3, and I'm going to tell you it's going very fast for me. And before I know it, it's like Sunday night. And although I have the outline and a general concept of what's going to transpire for our tutorials, it's like all of a sudden I'm thinking, I might want to sit there and just do some recordings and figure out some stuff. So here we are, week 3, and I am thrilled if you are doing your daily carpools. And at this point, you're getting some comfort in what is transpiring during that. So for module 3, and I just want to start off with something. So first of all, we figured out why my computer had the fan on, so I apologize. We have fixed that. It was high CPU usage, and thankfully my children helped me out with that and saying, you know what, Mom, this is what's going on. So then I made those changes, and then tonight, it is Monday night. It's gobble gobble for us. We had our turkey dinner a few hours ago. So then I went over and I did some cleaning out, and I have noticed a huge difference. And I hope that you yourself are noticing a difference in the quality of sound. I mean, I have my own microphone here. See, it just like it's right here, a professional microphone. I have my camera now set up. Finally, the camera. Remember, the other camera wasn't working anyways. I have 3 cameras on at this point. And so now camera 2 is working. I don't know if I'll go between the 3 of them. We'll see how that goes. And I'd like to start. So module 3, what are we going to do for module 3? We are going to talk about how do you prepare for a reading. And so we're going to learn to energetically and mentally prepare for a reading. That's the whole point of this module, is how do we prepare energetically and mentally. So what are we going to look at? And we have 5 things we're going to look at. We're going to look at a quick and easy meditation. This is one that I do all the time, and I've been doing it, I would say, since 2018. I'm pretty sure if I look back, maybe 2016, but definitely 2018. And then we're going to talk about cleansing and charging your cards, setting up a sacred space and intention before readings, grounding and centering techniques to enhance your intuition. That's so big. And establishing a connection with your higher self or guides. So this module I was really pumped for, and I was writing things and doing things, and it was just coming out of me like crazy. Now, I was drawn to look at a card, and we're just going to pull one, and it is boundary. Now, I don't know, I'm just going to go like this. It's boundary. And boundary is really important. It's interesting. This time right now, I was looking at Yasmin Boland's Moonology, and she was talking about right now, especially yesterday, there was a lot of energy. It was kind of like cataclysmic almost, in that people were struggling with communication, and feelings would get hurt very easily. You might become easily angered or irritated with others, and that we really had to pull back and have a lot of compassion and sensibility about how we were going to approach a situation. I know that even I was really pressed yesterday and feeling, I would have said moody, but now that I understand what was going on with moon energy, it's like, okay, this all makes sense. And yesterday was a time for me to seriously look at boundaries. And I have been really putting down some boundaries. And I was listening, I want to say Mel Robbins, but it could be wrong, but she's talks about that when you start setting up boundaries, and those boundaries are based on your higher good, what speaks to you authentically, how you feel, what makes sense, that kind of thing. So she talks about the fact that by living within your values, beliefs, and authentically, as you do that and you set up boundaries as to what makes sense for you in your life, there are people who really don't good, bode well with that. And you may find that you start what I call shedding people out of your life. And that is a natural progression. So the thing is, when you don't have boundaries, I'm not sure who was being interviewed, but this lady said, when I didn't have boundaries, everybody loved me. And the minute that I started putting up boundaries, everybody was like not happy. So she herself was somebody who said, what, this is something that people struggle with. So that's kind of interesting. When we look at the Sunrise Oracle card deck, so I want to just, the guidebook, I should say, you can look in there, and I think we have explained what boundaries are, but some people may still struggle with, how do I set those up? So the key word is boundary. The descriptor is, my boundaries are illuminated and defined. And I think that's the thing, is like, they are out there. Illumination is to bring them forward, to showcase them, to have them seen, and defined, which means that you have established what makes sense for you. And the prosperity statement, so this is that affirmation or mantra or what you are trying to achieve. Remember, Sunrise Oracle is a high vibrational deck on emotional empowerment. So what is it that will bring you to demonstrating boundaries? And it says, the radiant clarity of my boundaries mirrors the illuminating warmth of the sun rays and offers protection, growth, and respect in all aspects of my life. Now, why did I write it that way? Is that I wanted to say that when you are establishing boundaries, there is this, what I would consider, an illuminating warmth, because it is speaking to you. It is touching your soul. It is speaking to your heart. So it's not something that you're going to struggle with. And it offers protection because you are establishing boundaries. It's giving you growth because you've established a boundary, and respect in all aspects of my life. So spiritual, mental, emotional, physical aspects. Those are also relationship aspects of your life, and all those aspects. Whatever comes to mind when you saw that card, that is where you need to kind of hone in your attention to. And some of the questions, like if you're just wondering, like, how could I take this further? Hmm. Sorry. If personal inquiry questions is, what practices can I implement to assertively communicate and uphold the boundaries I have in place? And so that's the other thing. Sometimes you kind of like may go on the slide and it doesn't make really sense. And all of a sudden you're not certain. So when you look at that card boundary, let's concentrate on that for the next 7 days. I mean, that's what they're telling me is the read. It's for 7 full days. And I think that's pretty spectacular, to tell you the truth. Yeah. So that's what the card is for us today. That's for our collective. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to teach you a simple, easy, quick way to set the stage for your card readings. Some of you may already have this incredible meditation practice. Do what suits you. I find meditation could be sitting alone, meditation could be breathing, meditation is a walk in the nature for me. Some of you might be swimming, some of you might be around water, on the beach, in the mountains, in the kitchen. Cooking is my love language too. So that can be very meditative. Not for Thanksgiving dinner. It's a bit more stressful and a lot more work. But for others, this may be new, and you may not even be sure how to start. So I found a lot of different ways, like I said, how to do it. And it's really important about getting into your own space and getting ready to do readings for yourself. And you know what? I know that you're going to be keen on doing readings for others, and that's going to happen pretty quickly. So this is Uber Sense, is simple. Guylaine Vallée, she is a Vedic palmist, and I go and see her, and she's fantastic. And she taught me this. Colette Baron Reed does this. A lot of people do this. So it is a simple taking a deep breath in and counting to 4. So it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release for the same amount. 4, 3, 4. Then you're going to hold again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to release. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you inhale. Let's do it together. 2, 3, 4. hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, release, 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of hard for me to do that, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, inhale for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, hold for 4, and you just do that 4 times. That is a great way of just kind of saying, hey, I'm ready to do something a little different than what my everyday is. And it's so simple and easy. Okay. Now, there are other ways of doing that. Another way that I was taught, oh, I love this because it really does have the brain communicate each side, the left and the right. So, what you do is you'll just put your finger on one of the nostrils, and on the opposite side nostril, the one that's open, you inhale for 4 and you go 3, 4, and then you hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you release out the opposite nostril. So you put your other finger on this nostril and you release 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4. You're good. Inhale 4, hold 4, release 4, hold 4, and just do that for 4, 5 times max. That's it. That is like what? A minute. So within a minute, you are doing a really quick and easy meditation. It's going to get you in the mind, the frame of mind that you're about to do card readings. So the second thing that we're going to talk about is cleansing and charging your cards. So it's a real personal preference. I think it's important to cover this as some people are really interested in this, and you get questions about that all the time. For some people, they use specific crystals to charge and cleanse and clear their decks. So that's one thing that is pretty cool. And I wanted to show you, I have examples there, just there. So I wanted to show you, I have this fantastic, beautiful, it's some kind of, now it's escaped me, some kind of resin where every charging, cleansing, and clearing stone, little stones are all within it. And we have a magnifier on the bottom. We have pyrite on top. Pyrite. And then we have copper filaments all throughout, like there's a vein of copper. And this is one of those stones that this is a tool that I use that you can place right on top of your deck, and it cleanses and charges it and clears it and energizes the deck. Now, as I say that, there are crystals that you can go get at any metaphysical store, and you should look online. But 1 or 2 crystals that I would really suggest is quartz, and that's your quartz right there, or selenite. These are great cleansers, like a general purpose cleansers, but they also can charge your cards, remove things, and get them ready for you to do your reading. Now, you may think, like, really? Yeah, this is a physical tool and it picks up energies everywhere. And I was doing readings last Saturday, and a lady, while during the reading, could not help herself. One card was out of place a little bit and she couldn't help herself, and she decided that she needed to touch and reorganize my cards. And I actually stopped the reading and asked her not to. And I told her, generally, you don't touch a reader's stuff. That's our stuff. These are our tools. Your energy now is in my cards. I have to clear them. So, she did pull back in that, but it's really important that you maintain the integrity of your cards by cleansing, clearing, and energizing them. And so one great way is to have that intention when you touch your cards, that these are your cards. And remember, we talked about you falling, sleeping or whatever, and that with them and holding them and putting them in your purse or carrying them on your person or whatever, in your pocket, or in anywhere. on your person. And the thing is, like, you're holding them, but with the intention that they'll become your cards. They'll be clear, they'll be energized, and they'll be charged. You can do this with intention by actually just thinking that as well. You can infuse them with white light. So using your third eye, seeing in your third eye a white light enveloping them and charging and cleansing them and energizing them again. And what I have found is that prior to doing that, when I hold my deck, it feels a little more in weight. And then after I have done this process, and realistically, it doesn't take very long, it's very simple. When I've done this process, they actually do feel lighter. And so, even as we're talking, I have cleansed them, charged them with the intention that they would be clear and ready for the readings that we would be doing. So, yeah, so that's what you do. I'm just going to look at my notes. Um, you can, oh, I did it all. So there you go. So that's cleansing and charging and energizing your cards. So here is huge. We got to talk about this grounding and centering techniques to enhance intuition. So I want you to know right now, this is a must for you to do. You seriously need to put yourself in a place or area in your home, or like I would, maybe you're comfortable at a coffee shop. I never was, but you can do that, or wherever you're going to do this card reading for yourself or for someone else. You need to ground and center yourself. And so when I talk about grounding, what I mean by that is that you're actually grounding. You're maintaining your connection with Mother Earth. So you actually are grounded to Mother Earth, and it's very important. So you'll see people take off their shoes, um, take off their shoes and remove their socks and put their feet on the ground. They might walk in nature. It's really important that you have that connection. It's how you anchor yourself. I'm just wanting to look a little at my notes. You're wanting to anchor yourself, and so that you are grounded. It tells you a lot, right? But so here, let's talk about how to do that. So what you want to do realistically is when you're grounding and centering yourself, is that you feel calm and balanced and connected to the present moment. By doing this, it's a way that you can bring your awareness into your body and the environment around you, which can be very helpful if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or scattered, or you're just, like your thoughts are elsewhere. So by doing that, you actually start developing that sixth sense, that intuition becomes clear. It's like a radio signal, and it starts to become really clear. So, the first thing is find a quiet space to sit comfortably in a chair with your feet flat on the floor, or stand with your feet shoulder width apart and let your hands rest gently on your lap or by your sides. And then you want to breathe deeply and take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs, and then gently exhale. And you want to repeat this just like we did the gentle meditation. So it's like a minute. So you've settled in. It's like what, 10 seconds, and now you finished your meditation a minute. And you want to now connect to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. And you imagine, I'm sure you've heard this before, but you imagine your roots are growing from the soles of your feet and they extend deep into the earth. I take it a little bit further than that. It's more like, I see the earth and then I kind of like plow through and I see these roots and they're white, so that we're in white light. And you see these roots, and you keep moving further, and you might say, oh, I see sand and I see rocks, and you go further, and that you will stop in your mind's eye. You will reach the core, and you are then anchored to Mother Earth. And this keeps you, this energy rising from your roots into you, and it brings strength and stability and a sense of being. um, a sense of being, and it brings awareness to your legs and torso, arms, your head, and it keeps you present, and to your present in the moment, and also present in your physical body. So that's what you want to do, is you want to have that energy from Mother Earth, Gaia, coming from that root into your body. You also want to be present and spend a few minutes simply breathing and staying grounded. And this centers you. Notice how you feel. You'll feel more stable, balanced, and more present in your body. And then when you're finished, you're going to return to the moment and you'll be ready to come back to your awareness and your surroundings. And you can open your eyes if they were closed, take a final deep breath. And once you've kind of done that rooting and then you come back up, you're centered, you're ready. Okay. And it keeps you calm and focused. The other thing I want to say for grounding and centering, something else that I feel is very important, is to place yourself in white light. And I've taught this to many people. Kind of gives you a Teflon coating and it keeps you in a secure um, and safe environment while you're doing card readings. So the thing is, there's many different types of energies out there, and we have to protect ourselves, and we have to consider that that's something that we need to do. It'll become second nature, and just consider a white light encapsulating you like an egg, like an egg shell kind of thing, and it won't be as strong as you get more attuned to doing this, but cover yourself in white light as well, all the way like under your feet, and go down a little bit deeper around you, up above. And this also centers and grounds you. So that's kind of cool. So how does this enhance your intuition? You're going to say, okay, what does this mean? So, grounding and centering enhances your intuition by clearing mental clutter and creating a calm, focused state where intuitive insights can arise more easily. So, we're going to talk about a process that can help, that can calm your mind. And this is like I followed Sonia Choquette, I'm not sure, and I've read her books, Spirit Guides, and the other one, Living in Paris. It was very interesting. And so, if you look, this is kind of an outline of what she would recommend. And first of all, you want to calm your mind, which you're doing is you're doing your meditation, grounding and centering. You're really starting that calming your mind. And you want to focus with your breath. Remember, we've already talked about you're connecting to the earth, and grounding quiets the mind chatter. And this calm state makes it easier for you to hear your inner voice or sense intuitive feelings that might otherwise be drowned out by distractions. That is so true. You're going to all of a sudden you'll be like, I get that. So that's good. That's like number one. The other thing is, this type of process, this practice actually enhances your intuition, because when you're grounded and centered, you're more connected to the present moment. And intuition operates best when you're fully aware of what's happening now, rather than being caught up in the worries about the past or the future. And we're all there, sometimes, we just are ungrounded. So by grounding and centering ourselves, it helps our intuition to clue in. It's like a radio channel, like I said. It also heightens sensory awareness. So you become more attuned to your body and environment, and this increases your awareness. So you start picking up these little like subtle sensations, emotions, or thoughts that are intuitive signals. And it's kind of cool because you'll probably see signs or symbols or things will happen, and all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, yeah, I noticed that. So those little nudges that we have. It boosts energetically the flow of energy. It boosts this energy flow. And that visualization of you connecting to the earth and centering your energy strengthens that flow of vital energy through your body. So, this clear energy pathway supports intuitive perception. That may be blocked or scattered energy that can hinder the ability to tune into your deeper insights. So, this is a process. So, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to hear all this and you're going to like, okay, but I want you to be aware that this will be done. It doesn't need to be, something that's hours. There are people who do take hours to do this, and that's fine. I'm just saying that for me, I have an office space. I'm fortunate where I can go in, and the minute I'm in there, the sense that I have, like how I've situated it, calms me and gets me in that frame of mind very quickly. You know what? Doing all this also fosters trust. So you can cultivate a sense of safety and security. And when you feel stable and balanced, you're more likely to trust your intuitive feelings without doubting them, which is essential in you developing and acting on your intuition. So, in essence, grounding and centering creates the ideal conditions for intuition to flourish by quieting distractions, clarifying your emotions, and helping you trust the subtle signals from your inner guidance. And that's the thing with the Sunrise Oracle, that's really about that emotional empowerment. When you gain more emotional empowerment, and as you move through that process and whatever you're going through, your intuition strengthens. And that's one thing that I love about this deck. And I want to say with that, you know what? I don't know if you can tell, my daughter, we were together for the weekend, and I don't know if you can tell, she found a sweater for me and it has sunrises all over it. So apt. And so that will be my Sunrise Oracle card deck sweater for when I'm doing this stuff. So establish a connection with your higher self or spirit guides. Okay, this is so much fun. All right. This is a lot of fun. So I had a mentor, Kay Reynolds. She's an evidential medium. She's written a book and she was trained from Arthur Finley. Goodness, in England. Arthur Finley College is in England. She talks about her whole experience there. It's pretty cool. Anyways, she taught me how to connect with my spirit guides. So you can choose either or. Now, I did this picture here because I thought it was kind of fun um, to see this picture because this person is looking up. So I'm going to just talk about how to connect with your higher self, with your spirit guide, because that's one that I really enjoy doing. And I've had that guided meditation to do that. So again, Sonia offers practical and clear guidelines on how to do this, and Kay helped me do this as well. And when you do this, so when you're in white light, you have an intention where it's a purity and authenticity. You are emphasizing the importance of openness and trust, and that is going to build your connection with yourself, your intuition, and with other energy. Oh, so I'm going to tell you right now. So my cue or my clue that I'm having a lot of energetic movement in my office is the temperature goes down, and then I have like kind of like brushes around me on my face, and little touches here and there, and it's gotten incredibly cold. And so spirit is definitely here, and they're here waiting. So this is how to, because I kind of find I love doing this, is connecting with your spirit guide. And remember, you must be in white light. And I also will sometimes say, you know, in God's protection and stuff like that, only the pure of energy for my highest good and the highest good for all involved to come here. So that's what I do. And I really pretty feel strongly about others doing the same thing. But let's take a look at this. This was so exciting for me because it works and it's kind of crazy in the other hand. So what you want to do, this is Sonia's approach. This is her approach. And she talks about setting an intention. So clearly stating your intention to connect with your higher self or your spirit guide. So we're going to connect with the spirit guide. And in either in your mind or out loud, you can say, I ask to connect with my higher self or spirit guides for guidance, love, and support. And you also need to be grounded and centered, which creates a common receptive state. And so that's what we do. So you want to close your eyes if you're comfortable. You might want to sit in a certain chair and imagine your roots are growing from your feet deep into the earth, grounding your energy, and you feel a sense of stability and calm, and you allow your mind to quiet. So let's get to that state. So you will say out loud, I want to connect. Okay, they're here with me. I'm wanting to connect with my spirit guide, and now I'm rooted down and connecting with Mother Earth. I visualize that. And you want to raise your vibration, because when you're connecting with these higher realms, it requires a high vibrational state, and that needs to match that of yourself or the guides. And you can do this through positive thoughts, focusing on gratitude, love, or joy, and thinking of someone or someone you love to deeply shift your energy into a higher frequency. And then, you know what? You ask for guidance. So, with your vibration raised, you gently call upon your spirit guides or your higher self, and you might say something like, Spirit, guides, I invite you to assist me. Please offer me the wisdom and guidance I need at this moment. And you want to be open and patient, trusting that they are listening. And now, the tickets. So, I'm going to take this part of what Sonia says, and I'm going to do what I was taught by Kay. And then I ask for my spirit guide to show themselves, and you might see them in mind's eye. You might see it with your eyes closed. You might see them in front of you, whatever. So you sit there and say, okay, you know what? I'd like my spirit guide. And so he's coming in. I know for me, it is a he. And you can ask their name. And remember, it's only for your highest good and the highest of light, highest vibration. And Kay taught me to invite the spirit guide to come very close and initially to step on my feet. So I would visualize them, this spirit guide stepping on my feet. And so this spirit guide has. And then asking that spirit guide, it may be male or female, or you'll see, it could be a spirit animal, to come and sit within you so that you can be connected to the higher realms. Now you'll feel possible heaviness and might freak you out a little. It's okay. You can stop it at any point and then just ask them to leave and that you're done. But, as you move into this, you ask them to move in, to settle in, because you're getting ready for some guidance. You're requiring some guidance. And when they have situated themselves within, because remember, we are energy beings and we've chosen a physical shell, they'll come in and then you can ask them questions, and you can ask, like I said, their name. You can say, comes, I don't know, like you might have a question. I don't know. And I can't think of one as I'm talking right now, but right now you want to start paying attention to some of the little shifts or the subtle cues or pictures or words that come up, and or feelings, thoughts, mental images, or even gentle nudges. So you stay present and receptive, trusting your intuition, and don't dismiss anything, as your spirit guides often communicate in ways that may feel like whispers, gut instincts, or fleeting thoughts. So you sit with this, and you can ask your spirit guide for clarifier questions, like for clear guidance on a specific thing. For example, is this the right path for me, or what do I need to know about this situation? And oh, that's really interesting. And so you're sitting within your spirit. Now, trust this process is key, and avoid overthinking and avoid changing the energetic vibration of this interaction. Or your receptivity is really huge here. Trust that the messages you receive, whether immediately or later, are coming from a higher place. And doubt is going to block it. If you have like a lot of interest, I'm kind of nosy, so sometimes I get a little nosy and then I want to see other things, and then that connection is broken. So remain open and confident in the guidance that you're going to receive. And we're just going to ask them now to leave and to go back. Thank them so much. Have gratitude for the fact that they've come in and they're wanting to help you. It's just like the angels. You can do that as well if you want your angels to come in. And even if you don't understand what they're saying or what's transpired, I would write it down. Any thoughts, feelings, pictures, colors, anything that comes up that is really of interest, and that will strengthen your connection with your guides. Write it down, like everything that's coming, and being patient and open and trusting the process is key. Knowing that guidance will come when you are aligned with high loving frequency is all that this is about. Like, that's a real short, quickie version of that. But certainly you can take your time and go through the process. Like I said, inviting them in. You've gone through your meditation center grounding stuff. Now you're receptive and ready to receive. And what I love is when you have them come in, they can help with your card readings for yourself. What is it really of significance that I need to know? So let's ask that question and find out. Like, what's the big significator thing? Oh wow. Okay, so that popped out. Okay, it's weary. Now, the card weary. It's the last card in the deck. It is, yep. And this is about lack. And yeah, I know exactly what this is related to. So when we are in the state of lack, it means that we're not present in the moment, that we are either thinking futuristically or behind us in the past, things maybe that could have transpired a different way, or we expected something and it's not like, oh, I would have liked this. It's like a demand. And when we are in a state of lack, people generally look at this as financial. And it's interesting when I just said, like, be open, have gratitude that, you were getting all this information from your spirit guides. And I asked that question. So the thing is, when you look at this, for me, a lot came up for the last 2 days emotionally about future path direction, my relationships with others. I was kind of feeling guilt and being hard on myself. So I can understand, and I don't want to get into it. To tell you the truth, we all have our stuff. But this one comes very clear. This truly makes sense to me. So what does it say in the guidebook about this? Well, weary is like you're freaking tired and you just want certain answers or a certain way to things to be. So the prosperity statement says, radiant energy fills me with abundance, clarity, and the promise of new beginnings, dissipating lack. So that's the thing, to fill my cup with abundance, to fill myself with clarity and the promise of new beginnings. So I had a struggle emotionally this weekend. It was like the intensity was here and I had to pull back. So I can see why this card came. So the personal inquiry question for me makes sense, and is that, in what ways does embracing the promise of new beginnings shift my perspective on challenges and limitations? And that's the thing, by my embracing potential, and I think, and potential, how does that shift? And I feel that shift when I embrace potential. That makes a difference for me. So that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Anyways, that's a quickie on how to connect with your um, higher self or spirit guide. Spirit guide, kind of cool. And trust in the process, and trust in the messages that you receive. And that's how you're going to build your intuitive muscle. It sounds simple, and it can be. And the more you pull cards and write down your impressions or journal, you're going to build that intuitive connection more and more. It's possible. For me, that's the way I was taught. That's the way I do it. It's what works for me. That's what other people that I know that do this kind of work as well. So that's all I can say about that. And that's how I would say, guide others to do the same thing. You've got to put the work in for that intuitive muscle to develop and build. All right. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe we're closing in. So, what are some of the I was just making sure exercises. Did I spell that right? Exercises. Yes. So, here's what you get to do at home. What I would really encourage you to do. Do the meditation for grounding and clearing your energy. You can go back to that. Practice cleansing your deck using methods such as smudging or crystals or whatever intention, white light, and do that for the next 7 days. Practice setting an area for your readings. Like, let's get yourself settled into a space. And, one of my sisters actually just bought herself a nice little table and a nice little chair and a nice little tablecloth, and when that comes out, that's where she does her readings. And she has a little area, not a little, but an area in her home. And that signifies I'm getting ready. And it gets your body, mind, spirit, the whole shebang ready for that reading. Okay, so I want you to practice that. I think that's important. The other thing is, and I spelt practice wrong right here. I see that. I have dyslexia, so it's not uncommon, common that will happen. So I'm just going to get a sip. So practice your connection to your higher self or spirit guides. And you know what? The only way to really hone in on that is that you've got to research this, read books, or, listen to what I said and then just slowly go through that process. But practice with that and get that connection. You're going to feel the shift and change. And it'll be kind of cool when you sense like there's a little bit of a breeze or it's kind of the temperature's changed in the room or on your person, or you might feel like a little wave of energy. Like, that's really cool. So give that a go. And then our last thing is that you want to do a single card pulls and journal impressions. Now, it's really, really important that you continue just doing single card pulls. Do not get into um, you know, doing more than one card or doing card readings for past, present, future kind of stuff. If you're well versed in how to do this, fine. But newbies, like people that are pretty new, um, need to know to hold off on that and just gain intuitive muscle, your intuitive strength. Just gain it and gain it. Do a card like this weary card. There's so much more that I could write and do. So that's for me to take note of that. And here's the other thing, like you might say, oh, I've thought it through. This is what it means. Oh, I got to tell you, um, it doesn't work that way. You got to do the work. And I'm just going to see if I can find an example to show you what I mean. Okay, so I went and took a look at an old journal. And so this was 2019, 5 years ago. Wow. And it is the Colette Baron Reed's Oracle Magic Journal. And I went to Oraclepalooza, and the very first page it says, my intention is to be me. So that's pretty cool. And oh, yeah. So it was June the 7th, 2019. I was at Oraclepalooza. I'm so glad that I wrote that down. And so it talks about like we're doing one card reads at this point. And so oh, I had this really cool card. Now, this is incredibly meaningful for me. So, on day 2, I pulled out of her Goddess Oracle deck, Lakshmi, and it says, heralds a celebration of your purpose, wisdom, compassion, and prosperity. Okay, so I had a tingling here. That's my spirits telling me um, that is still relevant to today. And it talks about here that spiritual bypass. I wrote that. I don't know. We'll find out what that means now. And go to a place in denial, claiming spirituality. So I was at this point still fear based, fear of success, codependence, loneliness, being alone. So interesting. Look at the card that I pulled: weary, lack. Not a story to tell anyone. Well, I have here. Take it in, the process it, face it in a way. No denial of going through. Why is this happening? How am I to learn? Where in the world, wear the world loosely and be graceful. This morning I spoke with God about being ready to let go. It's time, were the words, and that's in quotation, to be ready for what is next. And so that's what I wrote. Isn't that interesting? Now, as I go through, it's what have you been willing to tolerate for yourself was my question. And was the garden that is my life. So excuses, I said, saying everyone is more important so that I need not see and place emphasis to myself, seeing myself from outside the boundaries I have placed for comfort, keeping the peace for peace sake, not pulling in full investment into something, fierce in my power with grace, serious about them. And would it feel like to be without this thing? I asked myself, seeing my own truth, knowing myself. I took it on from others. And then I went on to say, what has been planted in my garden that needs to come out so that I can landscape my life? And what do you being to the plant? What am I being? So the weeds welcomes mulch in the garden. It's a different form, compost, rich in soil. So commitment to who I am is what came out. Oh, I'm having ringing in my ears, so this is really important. Acceptance of me, believing everyone will be okay with their own lives, no interference from me, finding joy in this. And remember when we looked at boundaries, that was some part of that too, finding joy in things, seeing myself outside of the boundaries I have placed on myself. Wow. So that's pretty interesting that came out. And then I continued to write. So this is like bullet form, and I'd have to go back and really think about that day. But it says, being flexible, being adaptable without compromising, learning new things, firmly grounding in myself. Others be flexible too, happy, compromise, release old beliefs about what the right partner is for you. This and something better manifests for me is how I ended. So it is pretty cool. I got to read this last bit. I'm sorry, I'm just reading this and it's like, wow. The meaning, name it and claim it is the title of what I wrote. And it says the meaning to go with what is happening. I'm not committed to myself. I just don't have to overindulge in spiritual practices to demonstrate my spiritual being. For I am a spiritual being committed to being. I need not affix more ideas, plans, or structure, as the tangled garden will reap what I sow. For now, accept the flow that is abundance as an abundant flow. For this is enough. Enough am I. Wow, that's pretty deep. Okay. Wow. Very cool. So that is a little excerpt from my journal then. I know we're coming close to an hour and it can be long and tedious, but I also wanted to show you. So as I have built my spiritual practice and what I do, I want you to know that I've spent, oh, wow, that's so funny. Okay, I have a little piece of paper and it's on quartz. Okay, so you can't make that up. Okay, it's on quartz. So obviously meant for me to pick this up and show you. So it's important for you to research and, if you can pick up books, there's lots of secondhand books, borrow, go to the library and learn more and more and more. It's not just about you picking up cards. When you're doing card reading, it's about learning about crystals. It's learning about energy. It's learning about other divination tools. It's so much more. And also journaling all of that information that you have. in a book so that you can look back if you want. You don't have to, but certainly what comes out at that time and how you're feeling and your interpretations and these nudges. This is all your intuition. This is all that stuff that's wanting to come out and bring it to your forefront so that you become aware of it. And that's how that works. So, anyways, you got 5 things. I'll make a change and correct that little practice thing. Thank you, Mr. Or Mrs. Dyslexia, whichever comes first. And I want to sign out and thank you for joining me. Take very good care. We are under the hour, which is kind of nice. And I look forward to seeing you, wow, in a week's time. Thank you. Bye.